me is Tesla's Model 3, a $35,000 electric car that isn't ugly and isn't slow. How about that? Now, the Tesla Model S has completely redefined the public perception of electric vehicles, and now they've created one that's relatively affordable for the masses. Without an ounce of marketing, the Tesla Model 3 has sold itself like a new iPhone. Within just a few hours of its release, 100,000 people wrote Tesla a $1,000 check for a deposit on a car they didn't know exactly when it would come out. Now, within 7 days, 450,000 people threw their money at Tesla. How is it possible that just a few days ago, people lined up outside of the Tesla showroom in LA just to get a chance to sit in and look at a new Model 3? Well, today, we're gonna try to find out just that. What Tesla's done is incredible. The cars sell themselves. There's no dealership, there's simply a showroom and an extremely desirable product. The Model 3, S, and X differentiate themselves in terms of the front from normal internal combustion engines in the fact that they don't have a front grille, but that also gives this an extremely low coefficient of drag of just 0.23. That means it's more efficient, the range is longer, the car is faster. It's a win-win in every single situation. We've got newly designed headlights that make the car seem more aggressive than the Model S. When looking at the side of the Model 3, you'll notice that the door handles are completely flush with the bodywork, like on the Model S. Although unlike the Model S, when you unlock the car, they don't slide outwards. They have this rear-hinged mini suicide door-esque operation. Push in here and pull. It actually works the exact same way as a Nissan GTR door handle. And also, with the larger extended range, this car weighs exactly the same as a Nissan GTR. I love how the door of the charging port is actually integrated into the rear taillight assembly itself, so it looks like it doesn't even exist. All you have to do is tap on it, and it opens like this. In fact, if you have the charging cable in your hand, there's actually a button on that itself, which opens up the door. Stick it in here, and you're good to go. The Model 3 is 184.8 inches long, which makes it almost identical in size to the new Mercedes C-Class. These are the 18-inch standard wheels. There's also optional 19s, although if you got one of the early models, that's all you could get. They look quite nice, however. Now, unlike the C-Class, because this is all electric, you have both a frunk at the front, which has a decent amount of storage space, and a trunk at the rear, which can fit plenty of things. How do you actually get in to the Model 3? Well, there's one of two ways. Owners of the Model 3 will have an app on their phone. Now, the app is actually synced to the vehicle via Bluetooth. You can actually leave this in your pocket and walk up to the vehicle and open it. Now, because I don't have the owner's phone, what would I do? There is a second way of getting into the Tesla Model 3, and that is an NFC card, or near field communication. It's nice, it fits just like a business card in your wallet, and you pull it out, rest it here, the mirrors open up, simply open the doors like this, and place the key in the inside in a designated spot so that it recognizes it and you can turn the vehicle and drive off. I put the Model 3 in reverse here by pushing up on the stalk, and that activates the biggest backup camera I have ever seen. Well, other than the Model S and the Model X, but it's a Tesla exclusive. Now, it does feel like they took the image and then threw a sharpening and contrast filter on it because it just looks a little bit odd to me. The graphics are okay, but because it's so large, you can really see what's behind you. Now let's go drive the thing. Oh! The first thing you notice when behind the wheel of the Model 3 is how darn good the visibility is. The front of the hood slopes down forward, you've got a massive windshield, the dash is super low, and you don't have an instrument cluster in front of you to obstruct any field of view whatsoever. Honestly, with the way the front swoops forward and the low dash, it somewhat reminds me of a McLaren 570S. Now obviously, this isn't a supercar by any means, but the driving position is rather good. This thing accelerates really quick with the extended long-range battery, which is a $9,000 option. It's got a 310-mile range. It's able to do 0 to 60 in a claimed 5.1 seconds. I brought my V-Box with me, so I will in a little bit see if that is indeed the case. Now let's go click on the driving screen. We'll put the steering in comfort. When the steering is in comfort, it is very, very loose. The car feels, well, like it doesn't really want to have any fun. We're just cruising along softly, going for a nice, quiet drive. But when you put it in sport, I've heard other people say that it doesn't really feel like it has the driving dynamics of a sports car, but I actually disagree. Now, it's got a little bit of body roll, but the steering is direct and precise, and because it's rear-wheel drive, it's playful. The brakes work nice. Felt like ABS kicked on there a little bit. But overall, it's very easy to place this car on the road because of its visibility. Now, 3,800 pounds is decently heavy, but it feels a lot more nimble than that. I'm honestly impressed, and I think what Tesla is doing is incredible. They're not making cars that are appealing for the sake of the fact that it's electric and good for the environment. They're making cars that are appealing in general. This is a fun car to drive regardless of if it has an internal combustion engine or it's all electric. The exterior of it plainly looks nice. If you haven't seen one of these in person yet, don't judge it based on its looks. In pictures, it looks a little bit dorky, but especially in all black with those arrow wheels, I love it. I love the massive sunroof. Who needs a $14,000 Starlight headliner like in the Rolls-Royce when you've got a giant sunroof? You just look up at the stars yourself. Real stars, that is. Now let's talk about the price, because that is, of course, one of the most appealing aspects of the Model 3. $35,000 base price. What would you rather have, a Model 3 or a Prius? Of course you'd rather have this. It's better looking, it's much faster, it's more fun to drive, and it's not a hybrid. But is it really $35,000? Well, it's a double-edged sword. So if you wanted one of the initial Model 3s, the ones that are being delivered right now, it's not $35,000. You had to get the extended range battery that brought the range from 220 to 310 miles, but that'll cost you an extra $9,000. You also had to get the premium interior that gives you nicer seats, open poured wood, heated seats, upgraded speaker system, so on and so forth. That's an additional $5,000. So in total, 14 grand in upgrades over that $35,000 base price, bringing you to 49 grand. Not exactly as cheap as they were advertising, but the good news is federal tax incentives. That's right, $7,500 off your taxes if you buy one of these. Drops the price effectively $7,500. Now, if you live in California or Rhode Island, it's an additional $2,500 off. So even if you spent 49 grand, you could get potentially up to $10,000 off, bringing it down to $39,000, which for that, this is a fantastic deal. They have also announced that they are going to make a dual motor all-wheel drive version as well as a performance variant. That is where the Model 3 is going to be particularly interesting. If they come out with a P100D variant of the Model 3, dual motors, over 700 horsepower in a 3,800 pound car, maybe add another 200 pounds or so, let's call it 4,000. That right there would convince a lot of true automotive enthusiasts to switch from something like a C63 to a Tesla Model 3. Like all Teslas, despite the Model 3 having a lower price tag, it still has autopilot, something the $600,000 Rolls-Royce I drove yesterday did not have. Autopilot allows the Model 3, with 2 downward clicks to the stalk, to maintain itself within the lane, speed up, slow down with the flow of traffic, and even change speeds based on the current speed limit. Now, you can pay $5,000 more to get enhanced autopilot. That allows the car to change lanes by itself. That's right, speed itself up, slow itself down, and safely maneuver into the next lane with zero intervention from the driver. It also allows it to be able to exit off the freeway and get onto another freeway on-ramp to continue your journey. For another 3 grand, you can make the Model 3 fully autonomous. Sort of. You have the hardware for it installed, but unfortunately, current government regulations don't allow for this to be used on the road. Although testing, according to Tesla, shows that it is twice as safe as a normal human driving, and I absolutely believe that. With cameras and sensors all around, the car is going to be safer than a human, and it's not going to text and drive at the same time. In theory, this Tesla actually has the capability to drive from point A to point B with zero input from me whatsoever. In fact, Tesla says I'd even be able to hop into the car, and without saying anything, because it's synced to my phone's calendar, it knows that in an hour I have a meeting in downtown Los Angeles. It figures out the address and it will take me there. How cool is that? And then park itself. They need to fix the standard tire option on the Model 3 though. The smallest application of brake and all the tires lock up and skid. That's just silly. Now, Tesla hasn't reinvented the wheel with the Model 3, but they have reinvented the air vent. In a world of quad zone climate control and using different fancy materials and touch-sensitive controls, nobody has actually reinvented the air vent. They're all either round or square and usually in the same positions. Well, Tesla took this as a challenge. How can we make it entirely, radically different? And they've done so in a very interesting way. One air vent runs all the way along the dash, blowing blowing air out this way. But how do you control the direction of the air? Well, there is a secondary air vent that blows air upwards. The air streams meet together and blow whichever way you choose. This thing is literally an airbender. So how do we control it? Well, as you probably guessed, it is on the screen. We go to the climate control settings by clicking here. Now, when this is pushed upwards, additional air comes from this vent to meet with the air coming this direction, and the flow goes upwards. Pretty neat. It's also fun to play with, as is everything on the Tesla. The interior of the Tesla Model 3 is what makes it stand apart from any other car ever made. This is the simplest interior available. It really is just a steering wheel, 2 stalks, one for the windshield wipers, the turning indicators, and a 15-inch screen that controls anything from climate to driving modes to seeing the GPS, but it also houses something quite unique. When you look over the steering wheel out at the road, you'll notice something really shocking. Where is the speedo or tachometer? Well, of course, an electric car, we don't need the tachometer, but how do I know how fast I'm going if I don't have a speedo? Well, they've decided to put that right here. When I start moving, this part of the screen will show me how fast I'm going. And I actually strongly dislike that decision. Here's why. Let's say you're driving in unfamiliar territory. You're both trying to look at the navigation and see how fast you're going at the same time so that you don't get a ticket. Well, you're going to have to constantly be looking over, down and to the right, while you're maneuvering in unfamiliar territory. The steering wheel itself is super simple. We've got 2 different toggles with absolutely no labels on it. So what do they do? Are they volume control knobs? Do they change the channel on the radio? Check this out. Up, down, click steering wheel. Very unique. Another interesting fact is that the glove box doesn't actually have any sort of release on it. It's simply a button on the screen. Now, why is this? This is confusing. It's hard to find. Why can't you just open it? Well, it's actually smart. If you loan somebody your car and you have valuables in it, you can actually lock the glove box remotely so that nobody can get into it. We've got a ton more controls on this screen. Let's go to driving, shall we? We can change the driving dynamics of the vehicle. Steering mode, comfort, standard, and sport adds weightiness. We've got regenerative braking, which takes some getting used to, but once you are, you almost don't have to use the brakes, and you save electricity and regenerate it at the same time. We can also control the door locks. Let's check out the different light settings. We've got it on auto. Literally anything you could want to control in the car is here and only here. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Let's see how fast the Model 3 hits 60 miles an hour. All right, the V-Box is ready. We've clicked slip start to enable that and make sure traction control is limited. What do you guys think? Comment in the comment section below your guesses. The claim speed is 5.1 seconds. I'm thinking 5 seconds. All right, to a stop. Let's see, we've got the data. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? 4.4 seconds to 60 miles an hour. That's amazing. Let's try that again. Considering the fact that the Model 3 with the longer range battery has only 272 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds is crazy. All right, here we go again. Consistent, once again, 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Well, there you have it, guys. The Model 3, it's faster than advertised. It's more fun to drive than you'd imagine. The only downside at this point is so many people want them, it's gonna take a while to get your hands on one. But overall, bravo to Tesla. I'm really impressed with this thing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thanks to the owner for making this possible. Seriously, what a treat driving the Tesla Model 3. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Notification Squad, I saw you in the beginning there. If you're not part of the Notification Squad, smash that subscribe button, smash the notification bell just to the right of it so you stay up to date and you don't miss any awesome videos like this Tesla review right here. I look forward to seeing you next video.